Processing, brought to you by MTS Software Solutions. We'll go ahead and get started, as I want to be respectful of people's time and want to note that we are sensitive to the fact that your time is valuable, and therefore we'll provide a high-level view of the technology today, and I'll do my best to keep the webinar under 30 minutes. If you have questions or comments that arise as a result of the content that you see today, we invite you to submit them using the GoToWebinar tools. You can also call or email us at sales@mts-software.net. And I'll mention that you can also engage with us on social media, Twitter and LinkedIn. And I want to note that we will not field questions today if you do submit them through the GoToWebinar tools, but we are happy to follow up and address questions on an individual basis. So I encourage you to submit them through those channels. And also wanted to let you know that we are recording today's webinar, and we'll make the content available after the session. So by way of giving you a peek into today's agenda, want to let you know that we'll start with introductions and then talk a little bit about the leasing landscape and some of the challenges that we are seeing and how leasing and finance organizations are competing in today's marketplace. We'll answer the question, what is IntellaLease, by discussing some of the critical components of the solution and the functionality of those components. And we'll talk about how these functionalities are beneficial to organizations like yours, and then we'll be wrapping up. So by way of introductions, my name is John Cieni, and I am the VP of Marketing here at MTS Software Solutions. And I'm pleased to introduce you to our company and our IntellaLease solution and what we do. So as you can see here on the screen, our mission is to provide technology solutions and services that simplify, streamline, and accelerate core business processes. And we do that through some of the following expertise. I highlight these top three here as business process automation, enterprise content management, or ECM, intelligent data capture, or IDC. And I focus on these three first and foremost because these are the three critical components of what could make up an IntellaLease solution. And we'll talk more about each of those in later slides. But while we're on this slide, I want to emphasize some of the other products and services that we offer: software development, business process outsourcing, check and document scanners, and document and data conversion services. So I include these just to let you know that we have been doing this a long time, and we can kind of be a one-stop shop for document and transaction management or any kind of workflow management. But it's important to note that we haven't always offered the products and services that we offer today. Our company has been around since 1981, and in that time we've seen a lot of changes in the document and information management and business process automation industry. And as a result, we've adapted our products and services to remain relevant and also remain viable. And of course, our industry and our company is not unique in this necessity to adapt. I would venture to say that the leasing landscape has evolved in the last even 5, 10, 15, 20 years as a result of a number of market forces, and wanted to take a moment to kind of look at what some of those market forces may be, what some of the factors in the leasing landscape that are influencing how business is done today. And I included this little comic here of doing more with less, and the fact that we'd kind of all be out of our jobs by now if we didn't figure out how to do more with less. But it's a factor that we need to consider in being able to maintain the level of business that we're doing today into the future. And I list here some other factors and forces like the recession and the recovery that we're still in, and increasing regulations and the necessity to comply with those regulations, and risk management, security threats, changing customer expectations, and some of that has to do with technology and the speed at which business is completed today. And new players, new faces, new competition, all of those kind of impact how leasing is done today, and also how organizations choose to compete. And I list here some of the competitive drivers that we see are shaping some of the solutions that we're implementing at our customers and the conversations that we're in with prospects. And you can see here cost of funds, customer service. I mentioned earlier that customer expectations are changing, and a lot of that has to do with the speed to funding and the speed with which we can deliver quotes, approvals, documents, etc. And so I ask you to consider today, or in subsequent conversations that we may have, is what is your competitive advantage, and what are you choosing to focus on to stand out from the crowd. And whether you're at a bank or you're an independent or captive lessor, speed to funding is important. And I want to call attention to that because that will be a prevalent theme in today's presentation. So whether you focus on speed to funding to beat competitors to a deal or to improve customer satisfaction, it's critical, and it's critical to the success of your business, and it's critical that you do it in the most cost-effective way. And there are challenges to that, as you can see here in this stack of paperwork that may look familiar in your office. And these are hard copies, of course, which we deal with a lot of, but not exclusively. A lot of it is digital, but it's still a lot of documents and data. And so, whether you're serving the small or mid-ticket market or even large-ticket segment, this stack of paperwork may look familiar. And there are challenges inherent in the fact that there is lots of paperwork and documentation. And one of those that we address with our IntellaLease solution is the fact that it often comes in various sources. So maybe you have a percentage of your applications that come in through a dealer portal, maybe another percentage of them that come in through emails with PDFs attached, some percentage that may even still be fax machines. And another challenge that we see with those different sources, and even if it is purely through email, for example, it tends to trickle in. It may not all come in a neat package that we'd like it to. And if we're going to be companies that satisfy the demands of our customers, and that's one of our ways in which we create our competitive advantage, then it's important that we comply with their expectations. And the technology, as you'll see, allows us to do that. And then, of course, tracking and controlling of documents is another challenge inherent with lots of paperwork. So there may be different versions, or maybe you need to resubmit paperwork because the legal name of the business entity is not exactly as it was in the application, and so you end up having to do lots of manual effort. And today, what we find is a lot of the data extraction from the documents that are coming into the organization, whether applications or doc packages, that is a manual process. And that data needs to be extracted manually, and it needs to be keyed into your line of business systems manually. And we'll talk about some of those line of business systems in subsequent slides. Another factor of lots of manual effort is uncertain productivity. You may have to do varying amounts of work on each application, each deal. Different processors or operators have varying levels of their capacity and their ability to produce, and technology tends to take some of that uncertainty out of your productivity measurements. We find that there's often redundancy in data entry, and that manual data gets repeated into each system, or as I mentioned earlier, if there's an inconsistency in the data, it needs to be re-entered each time. And as a result, it's error prone. And when there is manual effort, there's often errors. And what those errors lead to are dirty data, which can have impacts downstream to your business processes. And of course, it goes without saying that all of this is costly. There's time, money, and margin that is sacrificed in doing this in a manual way. So with this next slide, for you golfers out there, I want you to picture the golf ball here as your organization's data. And the whole there is your line of business systems, whether it's your lease origination system or your portfolio management system, your CRM. What you want to get is that data into those systems with as little touches as possible. And you may have certain SLAs or stipulations in your program agreement which kind of sets the par for each hole or each application or each deal. And we believe that with our solution, we can help you stay under par. We can improve your handicap. We can minimize the touches that you're going to have on each of these deals and on the data so that it's streamlined and getting into these systems in an integrated and again, streamlined fashion. You know, I've never gotten a hole-in-one, but what, on the golf course, I should say. But you know, you can visualize with this analogy that straight-through processing is kind of like a hole-in-one, where the data coming in, no one even has to touch it, and it goes straight through to your systems for credit decisioning and funding. Revisiting the challenges of remaining competitive in the way operations are performed today is, you know, one that we find is decentralized data. So I have here a couple of icons that represent various line of business systems that many leasing and finance organizations are utilizing. And so kind of starting from the bottom left there, you see your customer relationship management, the portal, the system that you're using to track your opportunities and your leads. And what we're more and more encountering in the marketplace is Salesforce.com. We've also come across a number of lease origination systems such as Rapport, or Spar, or LeaseWave. You have your third-party data services such as your D&B, your Experian, your Equifax of the world, your portfolio management system, your InfoLeases, and then your ERP or your accounting software such as Great Plains or Lawson or some of the ones that we've come across. And there are some other types of platforms that are more end-to-end systems, but it's important to note that oftentimes there isn't an underlying platform that ties all of these systems together. And we believe that IntellaLease is the solution to tie these together. And what it doesn't do, what it does not do, is replace any of these systems. Instead, it enhances them. And there may be certain functionality that we'll discuss a little bit further in subsequent slides that IntellaLease can do that maybe one of your other systems is already doing, and you may want to keep it there. And we find that often is the case, but IntellaLease offers that functionality as well. So what is IntellaLease? So IntellaLease is a leasing solution that combines state-of-the-art technologies to process critical leasing and finance documents faster and more efficiently. And I included a couple of icons here that represent some of the functionality, such as intelligent capture, process automation, storage and access, and reporting and analytics that IntellaLease offers. But I want to speak a little bit more about what those state-of-the-art technologies are. And the first that I'd like to start with is our IntellaFlo product platform. And IntellaFlo is an open architecture workflow management framework that facilitates business process automation in a number of applications. And of course, the topic of today's webinar and discussion is IntellaLease, But we have some other products that we offer that are built on this IntellaFlo framework. And that includes IntellaLend, which is a similar product with similar functionality that satisfies the mortgage industry. And then also IntellaSpend, which is an accounts payable automation module, and IntellaCash, which is an accounts receivable automation module. So it's important to note here that when we talk about IntellaLease as a comprehensive solution, that there are ways in which you can leverage your investment in a product platform like IntellaFlo or IntellaLease in other areas of your business, such as your back office operations, human resources, your accounting department. And we've even built on IntellaFlo OnBase for Salesforce integrations. It's a plug-in middleware that we provide that could be a component of an IntellaLease solution. And speaking of OnBase, again, the components here are not all mutually exclusive, and let me clarify that a little bit further. And that is OnBase by Highland, if you're familiar, is an enterprise content management system. They're recognized by Gartner to be in the Magic Quadrant for ECM. And oftentimes what we find in an IntellaLease solution is that ECM has a duty to fulfill, but it may not be the part of your solution. And so we configure the IntellaLease solution to match the needs of each client. I want to also note here that MTS serves on a partner advisory council for Highland, and in 2014 we were recognized as a silver partner, and we anticipate being recognized as a gold partner next year. We have a lot of experience as an integrator, and we find that our IntellaLease solution often integrates with OnBase. Another core component of the solution is Smart Capture by Episoft, and what that is a intelligent data capture, as you see here, an IDC engine that automates the classification, separation, and extraction of data from documents, whether they're semi-structured or unstructured. And it's really cutting-edge technology in that it's next generation OCR. It's more affordable, it's more accessible, it's in the cloud. So we're finding that there's really a significant benefit and value proposition with our solution when it comes to leveraging the intelligent data capture. And we have a team of developers that are certified on the Episoft platform, and as a result of the success that we've had partnering with them, we were recognized as their 2013 Partner of the Year. So digging in a little bit further into the core functionality of IntellaLease, we can take a look at how it works. So capture, I just mentioned Episoft and that intelligent data capture component. What we do is we capture the data in any format at the point of origin. We mentioned earlier one of the challenges that we find is that it comes in through various sources, and what we do is we automate the receipt of the data as it comes in at its point of origin, and then we classify those documents or those data and identify them as a specific document type or the document name that you're accustomed to using in your business process. And then we extract the data from that document, or whether it's a document or an email or a fax or a form. We can pull the data, again, by minimizing those touches. We're doing this automatically. And then we validate the information that's coming in, and we compare the extracted data to other data in your systems. So whether it is those other line of business systems that I mentioned earlier, third-party data services, what we can do is validate that information. Now, you may already be doing that in your lease origination software, and that would be fine. One thing that you can consider is, do you want that dirty data that we discussed earlier getting in your lease origination system, or would you rather have it be clean going in? And that's something that this functionality offers with IntellaLease. And then we can take the data and we can insert it into configurable workflows inside or outside of your lease origination system or portfolio management system, or even your asset management system, and automate that process. Again, we integrate seamlessly with the workflows inside or outside of those lease origination systems. And then another core functionality of how it works is to provide proactive and real-time reporting to provide visibility across the organization that you may not be enjoying or benefiting from today. So in the following slide, we look at a scenario, and we kind of combine here the front-end automation and document package receipt solutions by showing you how we capture the documents coming in, we identify them, we may prioritize the critical documents based on certain SLAs or agreements that you have with your partners, and then we extract and we validate the data that's coming off of those documents. Again, all of this is done automatically. Very likely that it's being done manually today at your organization. And then we automate and integrate, and we output that data or documents into a workflow and integrate with the lease origination system, the enterprise content management system, or the customer relationship management system, as I mentioned earlier. So I think I like this slide because it kind of shows you in an animated way how that all happens. So we believe that there are certain key benefits to introducing these technologies into your existing operations, and one of them is improved productivity. And we talked about the speed to funding earlier as being a theme. That faster turnaround is really critical and something that we're finding that there's a lot of interest in throughout the industry, again, not only in the leasing industry, but in other industries as well. And you're reducing the error rate, which again has downstream benefits by making sure that data is clean going into your lease origination system and preserving the resources that handle that data downstream. It allows your operators who are doing a lot of this work today to manage by exception. And what that means is when there are inconsistencies in the data or there are instances in which the engine doesn't meet the confidence criteria in the quality of the data that it's pulling off, there's an interface in which the operators can approve or manually override what's being done automatically. And by focusing your time on that and not all that manual entry, you can definitely improve productivity. And of course, you're also controlling costs. So, you know, when we look at fallout rate and the deals that don't generate any revenue, we can control the costs associated with that because we're automating the process in processing those applications. So I encourage you to ask, you know, what if you could increase your application or transaction volume process per day without adding more resources? What would be, you know, the ROI driver in quantities as far as what you can increase per day? Another key benefit that we see is improved customer service. We talked about that as being another competitive driver in the marketplace today, and the changing customer expectations. By automating a lot of the process around the processing, a little repetitive there, but you can improve your response time. You can provide faster credit decisions, faster follow-up, and you can meet those SLAs, stay under par, and improve your handicap, as I mentioned earlier. And as a result, what you're going to do is attract and retain quality customers and partners, and that's critical to maintaining market share and staying competitive. Another key benefit would be the integrated and centralized data. So now you have communications between those systems and departments that you may not have today. And the benefit is really immeasurable in being able to have visibility across the organization, as I mentioned earlier, and have systems and departments that know what's going on with a given deal or client or vendor partner. Another concept here, retargeting. Retargeting has various interpretations. I know in the equipment finance industry, retargeting or remarketing implies reselling equipment. Digital marketing, retargeting has a different connotation. But in this case of having a comprehensive view of the data, it allows your sales representatives to market your services to lessees with whom you may have done business in the past and have paid all of their bills on time, and may be eligible and interested in financing more. What we tend to see often is that there's a kind of a one and done mentality where you may not be able to re-engage the lessees who may want to finance more investments. And think about those unfunded deals, the deals that get approved but that don't get funded. What happens to that customer? What percentage of the deals are approved today but not closed, and could those be customers? So again, reducing that one and done mentality by having an integrated and centralized data system that the CRM is getting, the sales reps are getting from the portfolio management system or the lease origination system or any of those other line of business systems that I mentioned earlier. So, I mentioned earlier attracting and retaining quality customers. It allows you to facilitate relationships not only with your vendors but also with your lessees. And then, of course, there's the analytics and insights. So the improved visibility. These are screenshots from some of our reporting dashboards that give you real-time information as to what's happening across your organization. And it also allows you to leverage that data and leverage the solution in other areas of your business. I mentioned earlier that IntellaFlo, on which IntellaLease is built, is a platform, and it can be extended. The functionality can be extended to other parts of your business, and also, again, the data being shared throughout the organization can have impacts to your sales department, to your marketing department, HR, accounting, etc. Compliance and audit control is another important key benefit, minimizing risk by controlling your process. Technology follows the rules, and that there's value in that. Limiting the errors, saving time and money, in protecting yourself against audits, hedging against new regulations, and ultimately what you want to do is leverage all these operational benefits to gain competitive advantage using the IntellaLease solution as the underlying platform to tie all of your systems together. And we believe that there are benefits, well beyond what we can cover today. I encourage you, if you're attending the ELFA 53rd Annual Convention, October 19th to the 21st in San Diego, to stop by booth number 34. We'll have some of our solutions experts on site, Ted Stocklin and Dave Spar. Maybe you cross paths with them at the Operations and Technology Conference, but we encourage you to stop by our booth there and to have a conversation with each of those gentlemen. And speaking of Dave Spar, you may be in touch with him already, and if not, I encourage you to get in touch with Dave and schedule a demo and see the technology for yourself and get a better understanding of your requirements and how we can impact your business and bottom line. So Dave's email address is there, dspar@mts-software.net, and his extension here, 856-642-1188-4974. I thank you for joining us today. Again, we will make this content available after today's session via recording and the slides, and I encourage you to visit our website at www.mtssoftwaresolutions.com to learn more about us and about IntellaLease, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.